What's up, guys? Welcome to a Vibe Call West Radio. Today we have a very special guest, Joey Hip Hop. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's good, man? Thanks for having me on.
Dude, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a little bit later over there, so thanks for, making time for us. I know you have a busy month coming up, and this is gonna be a lot of fun, man.
I'm excited. Yeah, thanks for having me on. And I've seen some of your other interviews, and they've been great. So I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, I think that I interviewed on Bryce Fitz, who and Dende. One's a creator, one's an artist. Very different people, but both very quality and very genuine people. So shout out both of them. And I want to say though, right off the bat, just the way that you operate. I'm such a fan of the way that you operate in hip hop Twitter, which is you're pure, you're passionate, and you're positive, and you also like to have fun and just me being engaged in that community and seeing that I'm a fan of yours. So just as you're excited to come on, selfishly, I'm just excited to be able to pick your brain about some of the stuff that I love.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's all just like for fun for me. Like I just see it as a passion project. So I'm glad that I've been able to make, some sort of an impact.
You know, you definitely have. And I was gonna have you talk about this a little bit. I know you started this in quarantine, and
Mhm.
just can you speak a little bit about the origin of the Twitter account and just where it's grown to at this stage? Because you've gone from 0 to 63K followers over this time. And can you kind of tell me about how that felt during that journey and like what the journey's been like?
Definitely. It started out in quarantine, as you said. I was very much just looking for some sort of creative outlet. I have a 9 to 5, but I've always been the type of person to like have something going on the side. Like I played sports growing up. Like I was always in clubs, whatever, just always involved in something. And when I was in this state of life where like you couldn't leave the house and it's you just like work and maybe with your friends, play video games, like I was really lacking that kind of extra something. So I just started like writing down reviews of albums. I also did some stuff with movies, but I figured out right away that like the music community on Twitter is just enormous and like really tight, and everyone kind of like knows each other or like knows about different accounts and comments on each other's posts and such. So it was just really organic from there. Like I would literally like on Google Docs or some shit like write up a paragraph about an album, screenshot it, and then post it on Twitter and just be like, here are my thoughts on Care for Me by Saba, and people would engage with it. So it wasn't something I even expected to get remotely close to what it is now. My goal was 1,000 followers, and I hit that in like a month. And then going from there, it was like, okay, I can be a little bit more serious about it. And I still like post a lot of like memes and shit posting, but I there was a point when I was like grinding out content, like coming up with like what questions I could ask the community, like what groups of albums make sense, and like designing graphics and creating like different ways to basically ask like which album do you think is better. It's like a simple concept, but it clicked with a lot of people. So yeah, I'm really lucky to be where I'm at now, and I feel blessed. I had one account that got up to 20,000 followers and then got suspended.
Oh, damn.
And it was at this point when like a lot of accounts got suspended, and no one was like, people were trying to come back from it and no one really could, from this like small group
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But I like didn't think I was ever going to get an account back to as big as what I got it at. And so that, on top of just like being where I'm at in general, I'm just like pretty grateful for it, and it's been an insane ride, so it's been
See,
good.
yeah, I mean, like just right off the bat, a couple things that stood out to me. One, "Care for Me" by Saba is an incredible fucking album. So I love that you
It
chose that
is, it
one.
is.
I'm such a fan of that one.
Yeah.
And quarantine was such a uncertain and, for lack of a better word, tough time for a lot of people. And for you to have
Mhm.
this positive outcome from that time and like has been able to scale it, cultivate it, and grow it is pretty amazing. So I love that out of you, and just the resilience to continue making an account with one get suspended. Like that shows again like resilience and just passion and just pushing through. So man, that was I'm really excited to dive into now the man behind the account and the way that your mind works with some of these questions and some of your thoughts. Really quick, I want to give a big shout out to Andrew Zarella, producer on this show,
Mm.
one of my really good friends and my business partners. He actually has a prior relationship with you that goes beyond the show. So I know he was one of the reasons we got you on. So I wanted to give him his flowers there.
He's great. Yeah. Shout out Andrew. I met him when he was like a TikTok creator and now he's working in the music industry. So just shows you like the type of person he is and like the type of time and commitment he's like willing to put in to do something he loves. So
Yeah,
shout out Andrew.
yeah, he's gonna be a major player in this industry, and I'm yeah very happy to know him and have him by my side. So his name's Az Rap Talk on Twitter, and he has some great content there as well. So awesome. Let's now for everybody that's watching, new and old, I want to do a breakdown of the show. So prior to coming on the show, I asked Joey what his favorite album of all time. He chose 2014 Forest Hill Drives by J. Cole. After getting that information, I went on Spotify. I before that actually I put that album into an Elite Eight tournament bracket. I went on Spotify and I seeded the songs based on total number of streams 1 through 8. I put those songs into the tournament bracket that I'm talking about. So the way that these songs will progress is Joey's opinion. Joey, are you ready to find out what the best song on 2014 Forest Hill Drive is?
I'm ready. I'm nervous what it's gonna look like at the end of it, but I'm ready.
You know, it's there's something, you know, I actually want to give you your flowers on this. Prior to the show, Joey tweeted, what is your comfort album? And he chose a picture of 2014 Forest Hill Drives. What do you think it is about this album that has stood out in J. Cole's discography and acts as such a vehicle for nostalgia, warmth, and comfort?
Good question. I would say this album just feels like growing up to me. Um, it's partly like when it hit, like I was in high school and just I was in a period of a lot of change, and that reflects some of the content in the album, like, J. Cole, like '03 Adolescence, even like Wet Dreams. Like it's it just feels like there's a lot of like this is where I come from and like this is who I want to be, and how he grew on his journey. So I see a lot of that in like my own journey and where I've come. And so not only like narratively is there that that growing up aspect of the album, but like it literally reflects in time like where I was at. So that's why it's my comfort album and why I have such a strong relationship with it. In terms of like how it ranks in his discography and why it's my favorite, I feel like it's the best blend of the narrative J. Cole on top of like the hits J. Cole, like No
Mm-hmm.
Role Models. Um, I also like Fire Squad and Tale of Two Cities. I don't know if you can characterize those as like hits. Like I would have to look at the numbers, but those two are just more like fast paced, upbeat type of like driving your car and like listening to just some bangers, like that type of
Mm-hmm.
music. But then you also have the slower, more introspective songs, like January 28th. Like I'm always just like thinking about like what he's saying. Also Love Yours, obviously. So I just love the blend with the narrative that he has there. Like I love For Your Eyes Only as well. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably my second
Same.
favorite by him, and that has the narrative wise, like it's as good, maybe better than Forest Hills Drive, but for me, it doesn't have kind of that extra layer of like what songs can you just kind of like turn your brain off and just like have fun with, and also have the lyricism too. Like that's to me, Forest Hills Drive is just like the complete package.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more on my relationship with that album and like why I think it's his best.
Yeah, I think very well said. The first part about it being coming of age, it truly is. I know when he talks about it being like the soundtrack to a movie, like, and there is almost a linear structure where there's the hero journey in there, and I agree that
Hmm.
songs like, Wet Dreams, and even Hello, apparently, and just there are the like truly coming of age, like Love Your, like there's so much emotion. And the last thing that you said that's so true is like it's the complete package. Other albums might have sharper lyrics, or might have, better storytelling, or but like that, this, you're right, it's the best package of it all together, and that means something.
Yeah, and I agree. And I wouldn't take this, and a good comparison is like To Pimp a Butterfly. Like the themes on To Pimp a Butterfly are definitely deeper, definitely more complex. But something like this is just easier to listen to, I think, sometimes,
Yeah.
and is just more, it can be more meaningful if you're like in the type of headspace where it's like, I want to listen to an album front to back and kind of get that whole package as I was talking about earlier. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right. I just wanted to like like reaffirm what you were saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
it might not be the best in every single area, but like as an all around package, it's, I think it's just like really does an amazing job at like wrapping everything together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like again, like it creates this idea and it delivers on it in a cohesive way, and that's what an album should be. So that's I'm
Hmm.
happy that it's one of my favorite albums, so I'm gonna be pretty passionate we're talking about, so I'm so happy you chose it.
Nice.
But guys, really quick, this is gonna be a first in a Vibe Call West radio history. um the When we were looking at just the songs in this album, there was one song that was going to be the 9 seed, so it wouldn't make it, that some consider the best on the album, and I wanted Joey the opportunity to have a play-in game for the 8 seed. So what he's actually going to be doing really quick is between the 8 seed, which is January 28th, and the ninth seed 03 Adolescents, which one would win that playing game to play in the big dance? I know those are two amazing songs, so Joey, sorry to be so tough on
It's
you in the
tough.
first one. Yeah.
No, all good. I I'm going with the hot take. I think I like January 28th a little bit more than O3 Adolescence.
Boom. I,
Is
you know,
is O3 your favorite track on the album?
no, it's not.
Okay.
It's an incredible song that some people like. Again, like it's so important to the thesis of the album that I wanted just to like
Hmm.
allow you to kind of include that. But I agree. I think the production on January 28th is incredible. I think just his response to, Kendrick's Control kind of at the end is something that's monumental. So I agree with you, man. So awesome, guys. Joey, thank you for doing that. Now we're going to go to the big board. We're in the big dance. We're in the Elite Eight. We're in the bracket. So we're going to start off with the first matchup, Joey, between No Role Models and what you just chose, January 28th.
That's tough. I think No Role Models is like one of the best hits in recent memory. I don't know if you feel this way, but a lot of the stuff that's on the radio, like it doesn't hit as hard as some of the album cuts typically for like most of these,
Mm-hmm.
major artists. Like gonna go back to Kendrick, like Humble. I think Humble is like one of the lesser songs on Damn. I like that track, but like
Mm-hmm.
again, like it's commercial does not always equal quality, and a lot of times commercial is like not the best quality. However, No Role Models is top tier. um that being said, January 28th is one of my favorite songs on the album, so I gotta go January 28th.
Cinderella story kind of happening right now with that 1-8 upset. I love that. No, I think it's like it seems to happen where it's like the eighth seed is a deeper cut, so sometimes it does upset the 1 seed, which has listener fatigue and just like it's been pushed shoved in your face so much. But I agree with you.
Yeah,
No Role Models is as good of a hit quality wise as you can get. But so thank you for doing
yeah.
that. January 28th. Moving on. Now let's go to the next matchup before we get into some questions. It's gonna be Wet Dreams with a Z, and I love how he did that. And then number versus Fire Squad.
Mm. By the way, are you choosing it all here, or you just want to hear my opinions
I
and
know it's
then
just
you'll
you,
give your
man.
take at
Nah,
the end?
everyone's here for you.
Okay.
I'm just commenting on it, but you're doing a very good job of distilling why you choosing the song. So you're doing an amazing job.
Appreciate it. All right, Wet Dreams. When this video dropped, I remember being in the library in high school and like watching it on my phone. And people had a distinct reaction to it because it's like the song about sex, right? But then it was like dogs. So people were like, at first it was like, what the hell is this? And then secondly is like, It's like kind of cute, like kind of a cute way to do this.
Yeah.
So shout out the video. It's definitely not my Wet Dreams. Definitely probably on the bottom half of the track list for me. I Fire Squad is one of my favorite songs on the album as well. I love the what's that line where it's like, history repeats
He's,
itself and that's just how it goes. Same way that these rappers always bite each other's flows. Same thing that did with rock with
Elvis
same thing that Elvis did
did
with
with
rock
rock
and
and roll.
roll.
Justin
Justin
Timberlake.
Timberlake, Eminem, and then Macklemore.
Yeah.
I love that bar is crazy. Watching you win a Grammy is that track Crack a Smile like that. The bars on Fire Squad are just elite to
Yeah,
me.
they're
So I gotta give
sharp.
that.
They're very sharp. I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Fire Squad is a great choice, and I think I just like love the like J Cole's a mainstream act, and he's bringing that almost like rap battle ferocity to the mainstream with that. So it's a very potent, powerful moment. So hell yeah, man. I agree with both your choices. Just letting you know, that's not my opinion,
Nice.
but awesome. So guys, now I'm gonna transition a little bit away from the board so I can ask Joey some questions that my team and I came up with, and so right off the bat, again, we were talking a little bit about your journey with hip hop Twitter, but the platform is changing right now. But before that, I want to congratulate you on your tweet last week going mega viral with over 420 million impressions. With that,
Thank you.
of
Thank
course,
you.
man. With that in mind, I want to ask, now that Elon compensates Twitter users, do you think it's changed the way people tweet? And do you see a bright future for all the creators of hip hop Twitter?
Good question. It's tough, right? Because monetizing for creators is important, and it's something that Twitter was lacking before. I think Twitter notoriously has just been really bad for creators because you got TikTok and YouTube who both have more tools as far as like designing your own videos or whatnot. Like there's no sort of built-in editor with Twitter, and you have the monetization aspect. And it just feels to me, at least compared to TikTok, there's more trademarks and DMCA's or DCMA's, the when they take your tweet down because it has music in it.
Mm-hmm.
That happens all the time on Twitter, and hardly ever happened to me when I've been posting TikToks or when I did. Anyway, so I'm glad that monetization was added. That being said, you can definitely tell when a tweet is just being posted for the money that you could possibly get from it, like trying to boost your impressions. You can definitely tell that. It's like it'll be like this guy was overrated, and it'll be a picture of like Kobe or Shaq or something. It's like, all right, come on, like shut up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would say it's good to bring monetization to the platform. It is dangerous because people are going to tweet bait for impressions. However, I do think that this was already happening. People are already doing that because people want impressions and people want likes. So it might have amplified that a little bit, but I noticed once the first and second rounds of Twitter checks came through, and some of the people that were like maybe just tweeting for likes, they realized like, wait a second, it's not worth it to do this just for like I don't know, a couple $100 a month or like
Mm-hmm.
less. So I'm just gonna just be myself. So there's definitely positive and negatives to it, but overall, I'm obviously pro monetization because I've been tweeting anyways, so might as well make money from it. But yeah, it's a nuanced sort of situation.
Definitely, yeah, and I think that there's I think the positives do outweigh the negatives, especially with like someone like you that is doing it as a passion project and is just stating opinions that are
Mhm.
actually organic, and they're not just like, I think To Pimp a Butterfly is the worst album of all time, trying to get impressions like you were saying, where it's just like blatantly
Yeah,
kind of crazy. So and then
yeah.
I want to keep on the idea. So for everyone that didn't know, the tweet that I'm referring to is Joey asks, Joey, can you just tell them exactly what you tweeted so they know?
What's your favorite celebrity interaction that you've had?
Perfect. So now I actually kind of want to flip the question on you. And speaking of that tweet, has your Joey hip hop alias opened any doors for you to meet some of your favorite rappers? And can you also speak on which rappers specifically had incredible aura when you met them in person?
Or
I know it's such a thing now. I
um,
wanted to throw in that word.
it's
Sorry.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Have you seen those tweets? It's like, what's that four-letter word? It's like if you show that to someone like a year ago, they'd be like, "What? What?"
I know now it's like
Um,
such a part of our just slang.
for real. So my favorite celebrity interaction, as far as like what my account has gotten me, um, so I tweeted about it a couple years ago, but a lot of people probably don't remember. I met Benny the Butcher at a meet and greet, and Benny has been probably my favorite rapper the past like few years. Um, I stood in line to meet him for like 2 hours, and I finally got to the front and met him, and he was like super super nice and cool. And then I showed him this like viral video that I made to Gods Don't Bleed that he's featured on. And I was like, yo, do you remember the guy that did like the white girl dance to Gods Don't Bleed? And I like showed him the video. And at first he's like, it's like what? And then he sees it and he's like, oh, like he starts like he recognized it and started laughing. And then he told his friends and he was like, yo, this is the guy that did like the dance, and he's showing them and they're like laughing. So he had such a positive reaction to it that it made me feel so good because this tweet was something that I did like as a joke. And when I first posted it, I got so much hate for it because people thought I was being serious. Like
Hmm.
I was basically just doing super just embarrassing like dance moves to like a song that was super gritty and dark. Um and so yeah, so to see him have a positive reaction to it and like think it was hilarious is like amazing. And that made me feel like so validated for some of the stuff I've done. And he like, I told him so we took like a picture and he was like, "Oh, you should post that on Twitter." And I was like, "I will. Like, you should like comment on it or something." He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I got you." And he like retweeted it, which is really
Oh
cool.
shit, that's
Um,
so sick.
yeah, and he like follows me and stuff now, so that's cool. Um, so yeah, I've gotten so many interactions that I'm like super blessed to have. Like guy artists I've listened to for years that I'm like friends with now. I got lunch with like an artist who I'm like tight with now that I've been listening to since high school. So it's just a crazy I could never have imagined this like a few years ago. So it's led to some really cool opportunities.
Dude, day in the life with Joey, just that's fucking awesome. Having lunch with rappers and just being able to that's amazing, man. You should be validated for just again, like that's just like fun. Like if anyone was clowning you, like you're just doing positive and just, uplifting stuff and just to make people laugh. And I was also really I saw that you retweeted this that BuzzFeed actually made an article about some of the responses. Like, dude, you went very mega viral with that. So congrats on that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
And then, you're speaking about listening to 2014 Forest Hill Drives in high school, and I was a freshman in college
Hmm.
when it came out. Me and you, we grown up in an incredible era of hip hop that was dominated by the big three, J. Cole, Kendrick, and
Hmm.
Drake. Each rapper was able to have high artistic heights, massive commercial dominance, and a massive rabid, loyal fan base. You have such a passionate understanding of the landscape of hip hop. So I wanted to ask, which artists do you think will make up the next big three and have the potential to become true superstars for the 2020s?
This is a hilarious question because I want to say that my answer to it a couple years ago in like maybe it was 2020, maybe 2021, I was so confident and I said like Roddy Rich, Little Baby, and Corday. And not that any of those guys like I like all their music, but if you were to ask that same question today, I think it's so different.
It
Like
is,
I probably wouldn't answer any of those guys.
which is it's so
So it's just
interesting actually.
crazy.
Wow, yeah, you're right.
It's crazy how things can change in a couple of years. And shout out to all those three. Like I do play like all their music a lot. It just is different. Like commercial success, I think plays a big part of that. So
It does.
this whole wave of like female rappers that are killing it, like we couldn't really anticipate that a few years ago. Maybe you could say like the male rappers aren't being as dominant and like leading the way, I guess. But I think overall, just these trends like sometimes you can't really see them coming until they're here, and a lot of it is just organic and who has the best energy and who's taking the world by storm. Um, so that's a very long-winded intro to this, but
No, but it's true.
ooh,
And I also
um,
really quick, I wanted to say that I love,
yeah.
it's like you don't see them coming, and I think that's why they pop is because they're a breath of fresh air in this kind of copy and paste culture that hip hop has sometimes. So that's why we can't see them coming is because it's a breath of fresh air. So I just wanted to comment on that.
So definitely, breath of fresh air is, I think, important for how you categorize like who the big three is. Um, and then just real quick before I give my answer, I do think it's notable that like we haven't had a new big three in a while. And so I think that there's a chance that there is no next big three, and it's just like a landscape of like a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
talented artists that are doing really well, but almost like simultaneously and not necessarily like in this sort of like hierarchy as we kind of saw in the 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with that being said, I think Tyler the Creator is a really good pick. Um,
Definitely.
I think JID is a really good pick. And JID is someone that I've always kind of seen like that potential in, but I didn't know if he would ever get the hits. And I feel like Surround Sound was pretty big. Stick has been pretty big. And then he had that song with Imagine Dragons that was
Yeah,
big.
that was
So
massive.
there's potential for him to be big. And Tyler kind of started as like that alternative sort of like edgier lane, but he did like arenas recently, so he's definitely up there commercially. Um, and then for number three, oh my gosh, that's tough. I think that
It is
oh my
tough.
gosh, I want to go ahead.
It is really tough. No, I agree with you. There's I have a couple. It's like but it's hard because you also again
I
like what you were saying before. Like it changes so quickly.
Yeah, I could see. I want to go with a woman because I think there's just so many female rappers out right now that are killing it that like I feel like one of them's got to be like massive.
Yeah.
Um, I think like is it crazy to say like Ice Spice could be huge? Like she's already
No,
big,
I
but
mean like she's doing like crazy brand endorsements. Like that's part of being the big three. Like that's what
yeah.
Drake had. J. Cole had more of the artistry lane. Kendrick was able to do both. I agree though. I think those are
Mhm.
great answers. And Ice Spice is so young in her career. Like there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I kind of left field pick, but
I like it.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
heard I heard her Dunkin' commercial when I was in the grocery
Yeah.
store tonight, and I'm just like, what the? It was like just one of those like I don't know, just a normal commercial with her in it. So it's just she's going crazy right now.
She's blowing up. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say
Yeah.
baby. I thought you were gonna say baby Keem. 'Cause I feel like that's like an easy.
Mm.
But like no, I think your answers are incredible, and I think also just you showing love to like female rappers is amazing. And you're right, there's so many incredible ones that are coming up right now. So shout out all the females in hip hop, and we're really excited for you to get your shine and keep progressing. I want to keep now. I want to go a little bit lower now. I want to like literally go to like the deepest parts of the underground, and all these younger artists that are not right now just starting to bubble on hip hop Twitter, Discord servers, and TikTok feeds across America. I want you to look at artists as stocks. So, which underground artists would you invest in to make some noise before the end of 2023?
Good question. Red Veil, number one. I'm putting all
So
my
good.
money in
Oh
his
my
dog.
God. Catching Fire is
Um,
incredible.
yes, 100%.
Or
So his manager DM'd me in probably 2020, I think, like telling me like, "Yo, check out like my artist. I promise he's really good." And I listened. It was his first album, and I listened, and it was like it was good, but it's like I saw the potential, but it's like there's a lot of artists that send me their music, and I listen, and they're like, "It sounds good," but it's like I don't know if they'll like end up making it or whatnot. Like I don't know if they're gonna reach that potential. And then Redville's next album came out, and I listened. I was like, "Holy shit! Like he's next. Like
so
I'm
good.
all in on this kid." And then his album after that, Learn to Swim, was even better. So yeah, I since Niagara, I've definitely been a big Red Veil fan, and I don't see him stopping. I just see him, going up and up and up. So
Hmm.
shout out Red Veil. Another someone else who I would invest in, Ice Cold Bishop. Have you heard of Ice Cold Bishop?
So hold on, really quick. Shout out Andrew. He told me that you were gonna choose him.
No
Yeah, I
way.
know him.
All
Yeah, he
right.
called him, man. Yeah, pick up a phone. Andrew just called it. Let's yeah, no, but sorry. So talk about Ice Cold Bishop. I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he dropped one of my favorite projects of the year, Generational Curse. Um, I can't remember where I first heard about him, but he has collabs with Denzel Curry, and he's definitely I'm blanking right now, but he's definitely got some other big collabs too. And his just energy is super refreshing. Um, he's got some like West Coast G funk sort of to him that I like being from LA, obviously. And yeah, I love his sound. He's just unique energy is like just the best way to put it. Um, how many you want?
As many as you feel comfortable with,
Is
man. I want to give all these people their shine. You know, like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Um, my boy Quajo is really good. He just put out his first project, and I think he just got a couple like big editorial playlists. So his album is like starting to do really well. Shout out Quajo, he's great. He's
Shout
from
out Quajo.
DMV. Um, yeah, who else? They're kind of in their own lane, like they're established already. They've been in the game a long time, but some of my favorite underground rappers are come from this label called Trust.
Uh
So
huh.
like Ransom, Shay Noir, 38 Special, like I love what they're doing. Ransom and Nicholas Craven, producer from Canada, they have this whole line of albums that's just amazing. So I love what they're doing over at Trust. They're kind of like Griselda, kind of like a in the same sort of atmosphere, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely different branch and definitely not just making like Griselda-esque music. Like they're doing their own thing. But like if you like Griselda, I think you would like Ransom, 38 Special, Chez Noir, um, and Chris Patrick is someone else who I'd invest in. He's really good.
Dude,
Um,
he's one of my favorite artists ever. Like right now, like I'm such a
he's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Shout out all of CXR. They're
Yeah,
shout out Noah, great people over there.
hell yeah. I got to see Chris Patrick this earlier this year to like do a sold out show and it was incredible. So,
Bro, I had COVID when he was here in LA. I had
oh
tickets at the
no.
Mint. If Chris, if you see this, I had tickets for your fucking show, and I was gonna go, and then I got fucking COVID. So Joey, I'm happy that you went
Tough.
there, but I'm a little jealous. Damn.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
Hell yeah, man. Well, if anyone, yeah, I mean, like, just please, everyone that's listening, please check out those artists. If you don't know them, I know some of them, and all the ones that I don't know, I'm really excited to, really just look into. So, thank you for answering some of those questions, Joey. Now let's talk about more of an artist that's established. Let's go back to the board. Let's go to 2014 Forest Hill Drive with J. Cole. So now we're going to be doing the 3 versus 6 matchup, which is GOMD versus Tale of Two Cities.
This is tough. They're both probably on the same level for me. Love the sample on GOMD. Um, I'm taking Tale of Two Cities. I something about it, like the production, the way he's rapping, like how aggressive he is on this song.
Mm-hmm.
As I said earlier, it just like creates a really cool juxtaposition against like the softness of like Love Yours, and the hellos and the apparently like the more sweet and slower songs on the album. So I Tale of Two Cities definitely
Mm-hmm.
probably top three on the album for me.
Yeah, it's it fucking knocks. And like music is
Yeah.
supposed to give you an emotion, and it paints this gritty and dark atmosphere. And then I love the structure of it, and the outro is so good with his like the voice manipulation when he's like, "Father, forgive me." Like I love that. Like it's so creative. The
Yeah.
structure of it's amazing. So it's a great choice. Shout out GOMD as well. Great album, great songs. Awesome guys. We're gonna go to the last matchup on in the first round, which is going to be Love Yours versus Apparently.
That's tough.
That is
I
tough.
love both of these songs. I think Love Yours. It's just hard to pass up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The message is great. The change of pace is great. Any of those songs where you can listen to them and you hear a line that you might not have focused on before, and you're like, you know what, like maybe I should be thinking about life like differently, or maybe like that really hasn't hit me before, but in this exact moment I'm sad or I'm happy or whatever how I'm feeling, like it's hitting me today. So it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those songs that not it's not gonna blow your mind lyrically, but it's just very relatable, and maybe the most like beautiful song on the album. So
Yeah.
definitely Love Yours.
There's a lot of beauty and simplicity, and I think when a message can be, transferred and just conveyed, just like in a very pure and just easy way, like there's a lot of power in that. That
Yeah.
song, sonically as well, is like a giant hug. Like it's
Yeah.
beautiful, man, and just like the strings, the piano, everything. So awesome, Joey. Thank you for doing all that, guys. The first round has been established. I want to now, before we move on, I want to play a fun game with you. So
Okay.
that sounded like menacing. Play a phone game with you. No, so I've there's what, like when you have the blind rank something, right?
Yes.
So you don't know the order in which I'm going to be giving you these names or albums, and
Okay.
I want you to rank them for me 1 through 5. I'm sorry that you're gonna have to do this.
Scary.
And I'm joking. No, we're gonna have a lot of fun, man. So guys, I for the first one, I'm gonna give Joey 5 artists. He doesn't know in the order in which I'm giving him the artists. So whenever he gets one, he has to put them in the placeholder 1, 2, 3, or 5. So
Okay.
first one, I'm sorry to give you this as the first artist, Benny the Butcher.
One.
So one already. Okay, so we
I'm
already have
going
our
one.
one
Yeah,
seed.
why not? Why not?
Okay, I love that. It's confident. After you told me that he's like your favorite artist the last 3 years, it makes sense. Now,
Yeah.
where would you put JID?
Two.
we're just gonna
This is
fuck.
gonna get bad real quick.
Oh, it is. You're not. Yeah. Well, I
It's gonna
guess
be
what?
like Stevie Wonder or like
Yeah.
one of the
No.
greatest musicians ever.
Okay, so we got two. You got the 1 and the 2 position locked in confidently. I'm gonna say it was confident. Corday.
Come on, man. I know you like look through my Twitter and you're like, all right, he listens to all these guys, so I'm
Oh,
gonna
100%. I'm
give
trying
it to
to.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, three, why not? Three.
We're really going in descending order. Awesome. Okay, so
Yeah.
you put Corday 3, and then how really quick. How have you seen the progression of his career? Because I thought The Lost Boy was incredible. I thought that From a Bird's Eye View was good. I don't think it was bad. People were like really upset with
Yeah.
it. Where do you think he's gonna go with his next album? Do you think he still has that potential?
100%. The Lost Boy I think was like really truly special, not just like, oh yeah, good album, good debut, like
It
let's
was
see what he does
special.
next. Like
Yeah.
literally like I had the album on repeat for years.
Same.
Still really good. Second album, I agree. It was like solid. Not bad, not bad at all. Lots of outrage on Twitter because people were like, you told me this guy was gonna be like the next J. Cole and he's not. It's just, people are always gonna have high expectations. So
Hmm.
I don't really knock him for it, but obviously, was hoping for something a little better. But I still like the album, listen to it every once in a while. Next album, I could see him going away from rap a little bit. Like I don't know if you heard his new
I
single, but
did. Yeah.
he's like singing on it. So props to him. Like I want to see him just kind of do whatever he wants and like find his own lane. But he's he can kind of take the world by storm and do whatever he wants. Like Doomsday. Did you hear Doomsday with Juice World?
Of course. Yeah. That was
RIP.
like an old cut though, right? But it was still so good.
Yeah, yeah, that one was fire. So like he can kind of do both.
Yeah. I like that.
Singing and rapping. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Um. Also, I just wanted to ask your opinion on him because I love him as well. So
Yeah,
now we have Corday in the 3. What about Roddy Rich?
I'm gonna go five. Um, I tweeted like something crazy before Live Life Fast came out because I love, please excuse me for being antisocial. So I tweeted something like watch. Roddy's next album is gonna be like better than like Drake, better than Kendrick's, blah blah blah. And it was not true, but yeah,
you're like the sports pundit that's like this guy is gonna be the next Tom Brady, and just fucking,
exactly. Yeah,
you
I
gotta
see
shoot that.
Jamarcus Russell, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna be like the best, greatest QB of all time.
Yeah, it's crazy because I like that you said that we all had the opinion that Roddy Ricch had so much, and we'll see what happens, but it hasn't sadly materialized the way that we thought it would.
Yeah, so I
And
go five with him.
then J Cole.
J Cole four. All right, okay.
No, you got to blind.
If you what's up?
That was the blind ranking. You put J Cole for everyone.
No, no, no. I know. But if you think about it, off season versus Forever Story versus, uh, I guess Tana Talk 4 would be Benny's last versus Corday's last album. Not horrible. Like I think
Yeah,
Forever Story is better than off season.
yeah, definitely. I agree. I think the Forever
Yeah,
Story is the strongest on that. Okay,
yeah.
awesome. Now let's kind of keep on that. Now we're gonna go albums. And
Okay.
candidly, I chose this from the list that you put of your favorite ones of the 2020s. So this is gonna be tough.
Of course, of
Yeah,
course.
it's the blind ranking. The first one, Learn to Swim.
Okay. I'm going two,
Nice. Okay. It's a very solid choice. Now, Pray for Paris, West Side Gun.
three.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had it higher than Learn to Swim. I can't remember, but those two are similar.
Yeah,
I love them
interchangeable.
similarly.
I love the
Yeah,
production on Pray for Paris. Oh my God, so sick.
so good. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Now, Never Enough by Daniel Caesar.
Ooh, I can't remember where I had this on my list either, but
So you have the 2 and 3 done right now.
ooh, I'm gonna go with four just because it's been so recent. Some albums I love at first, and then after a or like maybe a year or so, I don't listen to them as much. I love the album; it's my favorite from this year, but I'm gonna go four just because I don't know what's coming next.
Exactly. What? So now let's go Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs.
Ooh, another good one. I'm gonna go five, and just hope that the next one is something really, really good.
You played it perfectly. The last one's The Forever Story by JID.
All right, there we go. I was hoping for that
That's a
one.
great
So,
list. I agree with that list actually. I think top to bottom.
yeah,
It's
I might
amazing.
switch out. I might switch Pray for Paris and Learn to Swim, but those are close for sure.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for doing that with me, man. That was a lot of fun. I like to like
Of
whoever the
course.
guest is on the show. Like I know with Bryce, I did like a 3 word game with Logic albums. Like I think it's fun to like
Mm,
tailor it around the guest and just do some fun stuff like that. So
yeah.
awesome, great job with that. Now, guys, let's go to another album that he loves, 2014 Forest Hill Drive. We're in the semi-finals. Let's go. It's going to be
Let's
January
do it.
28th versus Love Yours. Two incredible fucking songs.
Damn. I'm gonna go January 28th. I just love the tone it sets for the album. Like you have the intro, but the intro is I don't remember exactly how long it is, but it feels like it's not like a full song, right? It feels like the intro kind of feels like an interlude, and then January 28th comes in, and that feels kind of like the intro to me.
Mm-hmm.
So January 28th, yeah,
Sets the tone for the album incredibly well.
yeah,
That sample, I think it's like a Japanese sample. It's fucking crazy.
yeah.
That beat is beautiful. Awesome. Now, the second semifinal, Fire Squad versus Tale of Two Cities, which kind of thematically, like sonically, it's a good matchup.
Yeah, that is. And I love them like almost equally.
No favorites between children.
I think Tale of Two Cities just edges it out slightly. I don't know. What would be your choice here?
I would probably go. I might go with Tale of Two Cities too, because like when you get to this point of like the bracket, I always find that like as it progresses, you start to like have to think about things that make songs differently. And even though he's not the one rapping on it, like the mystique of the song feels more legendary to me because Kendrick also rapped on the beat. So my relationship with
Mm,
the song is a little bit stronger. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Have you seen people saying like, "Oh, that's Kendrick's beat now"? Like Tale of Two Cities, I can't listen to it because I need to hear like Kendrick rapping.
Dude,
Like,
there's
have you
some.
seen that discourse?
I could imagine that because people would love to just, Kendrick's probably my favorite rapper of all time, but people love to dick ride
Yeah.
Kendrick, so like they're gonna say that naturally, and they also love to put down J. Cole. But like, first of all,
Yeah.
like they're so different thematically. One is just Kendrick fucking spitting till he can't talk, and the other one is J. Cole
Yeah.
conveying a message. So I could see that though so easily.
Yeah.
Um,
I to me like J. Cole cemented that song in my brain. So it's like hearing J. Cole rap over the Devil in a New Dress beat on, I think it was
exactly.
Illmatic.
Great
It's like
comparison.
it's good, but it's still Kanye's song for sure.
100%. I totally agree with you on that. It's also
Yeah.
a great remix. Shout out Friday Night Lights. That's my favorite mixtape of all time.
I love that mixtape.
So good. Awesome. Now, guys, I'm gonna ask you just like one more question, and then we're gonna go to the finals. But this is kind of like I was talking with Andrew about what I really wanted to get your opinion on. And I think it feels like Utopia was the last rollout that created a moment that made the entire
Mm-hmm.
hip hop ecosystem stand still and acknowledge it. In your
Mm-hmm.
opinion, what makes a great album rollout, and what are some of your favorites of all time?
Great question. I would say there's no recipe to what a great rollout is. You can have a rollout where you're doing the most traditional sort of methods, but if it gets people talking, if it's exciting, like, you know, maybe you only do like billboards and I don't know, like traditional social media posts, but you have like a music video that is so just tonally defining of this new era or whatever you want to do, that like that could be a good rollout, you know? But then you also have people that kind of like phone it in and then they just do a few rollouts or sorry, a few billboards and that's like their whole rollout. And that wouldn't be a good rollout to me. So it definitely depends on the exact situation. So there's no recipe to me. Um, However, I do really appreciate when artists try new things, whether it's like pop-ups or like Offset going on Kai's stream. I heard
Mm-hmm.
someone said that Kai had did that with Lil Baby and other rappers too, but I'm just gonna go off recency bias and just I just he's the first kind of rapper that I remember doing that to go on a big streamer's site and like have so much fun with it and go viral for just like having fun with the kid, which I really liked. Like
Yeah.
it's not like you're going viral for shit talking. It's like literally he's like just doing something positive, like just having fun. So I like that. And then like he was at the Colorado game the next day and was like getting interviewed on ESPN. So I like shit like that.
Yeah.
Um, the the CLB rollout I feel like was really good. Kind
Great.
of corny with like the emojis and shit, but when Drake took over Sports Center, that was like kind of sick. Like it just like interrupted during Sports Center, and it was I think it said like CLB like I don't know whenever it drops, I forget. That one was really good. Astro World has had an amazing rollout from
Mm-hmm.
what I can remember. Um, and yeah, people will argue Donda is like an amazing rollout. I kind of have mixed feelings on it because at the time I remember how frustrating it was when another listening party was
Yeah.
like being announced and there was
Yeah.
no album. It was like we're gonna do our fifth listening party and the sound isn't gonna work and people are paying like a lot of money to go see this shit. So that was like I don't know. Part of it I felt like Kanye kind of like dragging the fans along, but it was memorable, so I kind of I give him that, and I think you could argue that it was a good rollout,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I think honestly, I didn't think Kanye knew what he was doing. I don't think I don't think he knew where he's like the album's not done, so I'm just gonna keep doing stuff. And then he hears it and he's like, I got to do another one, another one. And finally, there he's like, all right, like let me just fucking release the album. So that I agree though.
yeah,
It's so like that was, but like it was the word is captivating. Like it was. You were just like sitting there, you're like, what the fuck? Like this is every single thing is a
yeah.
moment. So no, that was a great answer. And now let's talk about an album that had no rollout and was incredible. 2014 Forest Hill Drive. We were in the final, guys. So Joey, hip hop. What is the best song on a vibe? I mean, on 2014 Forest Hill Drive between January 28th and Tale of Two Cities.
Oh my gosh. I didn't want to think this far ahead and try to decide. I just wanted to kind of go with the flow. So now I'm just like stuck. Um, I think Tale of Two Cities takes it.
Boom.
And for the very subjective reason of like that song, the from the first time I heard it to like when I hear it now, it just like puts like a certain feeling inside my head that like I had this visceral sort of internal like emotion, like emotional reaction to it that is just like, oh yeah, that's like that song that I love that like I've heard over and over and over again. Um yeah, it just has this like special sauce to me. So I'm just gonna take that.
Dude, and it's your bracket, so I want you to be as subjective as possible. It's the truth, and if like that, if you have an emotional attachment to this song, then like kudos to you. It's an incredible song. It's an incredible album. I love the way that you approached the bracket. You gave incredible answers. And before I kind of wrap everything up, I would love to give you an opportunity. Is anything that you want to like shout out? What do you have going on the rest of the year? Anything you would like to plug?
Definitely. So my Twitter at is at Gotham Hip Hop. Um, I'm still trying to figure out how like what I want to do with that brand. Just because it was like kind of a last minute thing when the Joey Hip Hop account got suspended. So that's that's my Twitter. There's nothing set in stone for the rest of the year, but I'm definitely gonna be, working on some things. And at the bare minimum, you can expect some content from me on Twitter. Like I love just posting some stuff that I hear in interviews. Like I consume a lot of content and I like to share that content. So some people find it informative, some people just follow me for my opinions, but yeah, I like to just like talk about music and I might branch out and talk more about movies and just other stuff, but maybe sports. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck on your fantasy football season. I know we were talking about that before jumping
You
on.
too.
And then fucking
Brandon Ayuk, my
Re-
best pick.
hopefully
Hopefully he's
yeah,
healthy.
he's been amazing this year. Also, fucking
Yeah.
Yahoo giving us both D's, and we're both leading our leagues. Is
Yeah.
just everyone that's listening, just know, just if you believe, man, if you believe in the players, pretty amazing. Joey, this has been truly incredible. I am so grateful for you taking the time out of your night and before you have a very busy month to come on and just have a great combo with me, man. I really means a lot.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed our conversation and I like what you're doing, so keep it up and I'm excited to, run this back and also hear what you have to say on the future interview. So thank you.
Awesome, man. Well, everybody, please go and check out Joey on Twitter if you want to have really just incredible, opinions on movies, on music, and everything in between. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Vibe Call West Radio.
Shout
Done.
out Dreamville.
Shout out Dreamville. Shout out every single artist that we actually talked about too. But Vibe Call
Yes.
West. Done.